Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia here and welcome back to Overcoach. So, we get to take another look at one of the VODs sent in by one of the viewers today. Today we're on board with Nick's Army, who is playing Sigma on Numbani. And this is going to be a really interesting one. This is a gold game, around 2300-ish. And this player used to be a Rhine player in Plat. And they didn't really enjoy Rhine anymore, so they've decided to go ahead and main the Sigma. Which is going to be super interesting because there is this thing about Sigma, isn't it, where people sometimes try and use Sigma as a main tank, and we're gonna see Sigma as a main tank here. I'm not gonna lie. And is it ideal? That's the sort of thing, and it can have a big sort of dependence on what the enemy team is running. Now we'll wait for obviously the match to kick off here, but what I'm looking at already from the enemy team is not brilliant. I'm not gonna lie, for what we're running right now. So we're gonna go for the ballsy rock. As ever, the accretion is always very nice. Nice to get a bit early, but I would pull back here though. I would pull back now. I would pull back now. Pull back now, because they're gonna a good level of Overwatch, I would say. They're going to rush you here, and you don't want to get caught in this room, because look what they've got on their team. And we've seen this from what they're running down from spawn with. They're running a Junkrat, they're running a Reaper, they're running a Roadhog. The Hog could have hooked us there, and if he hooks us there, we're dead, the point's gone, without a doubt. They're running a very spammy, very shield breaky comp, and it's not something we want to be close quarters with right now, so just get out of here. You need to be holding on the high ground at the door. And you need to spam the door with Sigma. Remember, Sigma can bounce his balls wherever he wants. Ooh, that's a hook and a half. We're lucky to get out of that one. We're lucky to get out of that one. Also, we've burned all of our cooldowns in that room, which is not ideal, because then we have nothing to absorb this damage coming through here. And the Zarya gave us a bubble as well. So, we've got nothing to combat this incoming damage. Now, in all fairness, the Junkrat is not getting much work done. He should be. He really should be, I'm not gonna lie. This Junkrat is not doing too well. Also, having a Genji against this comp is not ideal, but, you know, whatever, the soldier isn't too bad though. But we are gonna lose the shield wall here. They already have more HP shields than we do, because we have a 900 HP Sigma barrier. Ooh, okay. So, just to finish my point there, we've got a 900 HP Sigma barrier, which gets shredded by Junkrat and Reaper, and Roadhog. And they've got a 1600 HP Reinhardt barrier, but they've also got the shield break to go alongside it, so it's very difficult to keep barriers up in this situation. I'd be frustrated as a Reinhardt playing against this comp because it's got so much shield break. But what has happened here, and this is something that sometimes happens, and it's not just you, the Zarya's done this as well. Don't rotate into this room as a defense, because we've got a Batiste over here. We've got one dead who is in spawn. Who are you? It's the Genji. What a surprise. But if you rotate into this room, you are just asking for trouble with the comp they're running. Their Roadhog has rotated to point, which is actually a really clever move, because who's going to touch point here? Who's going to stop them taking the ticks? Who's going to keep that point presence? You've lost point presence by going back there, is what I'm saying. What most people will do is they would have just dropped on the high ground and come to point. It's difficult, but if you go to point here, you give the Junkrat, who is for some reason still here, I don't know why he's still there, but he is, you give the Junkrat less of an opportunity to spam you out. But he shouldn't spam you out here, because he should be with his team here, let's be honest. He would get so much value doing this. But you're never going to win this war. That's unfortunate from the soldier. He shouldn't be in there anyway, but this is gone. This is so gone. It was just a really, really odd rotation, and not only that, if you go to point, even if you lose that, which you look like you were going to lose that anyway from the way that just the fight panned out, because of the massive shield break they've got, you were under so much pressure, it was just better to drop to point because you would have got more time off the clock. You possibly would have been under 5 minutes here, with a bit of stall. But, one good thing, we do have our Gravitic Flux. We do have a Dano, we almost have a Blade, and our soldier has clearly not done too much because we are not very much near a tactical visor, which is not brilliant. But they don't have too much to answer our... Ooh, that's a Reaper. Again, and that's something else we need to be aware of here. We went to high ground, right? So we were up here, and that's fine when Sigma's an off-tank. But if you're up there and not down here and you're playing Sigma as a main tank, which, okay, I'm not going to advise playing Sigma as a main tank. I'm just going to come out here and say it. Sigma as a main tank is questionable, but at gold you can get away with it. But these guys have got no protection if you're up there. So I would have just come down main and made sure that your shield's there. But the main thing with Sigma here, especially in this situation, is you've got to feather your shield, and that is a hook. Again, Hog is going to punish this a lot, but we need to feather our shield because we can't just plonk it up and expect it to do work, because it's just going to get melted so badly. So badly. So what I would be looking to do is feather it in situations where I can actually get effectiveness with it. Say a Hog hooks, like, that's actually really good. It wasn't the shield, but it was the accretion. You used the accretion to get him out of the hook. So if he connected that hook, he wouldn't have got any value out of it. So that was a really good accretion. Bit slow on the reactions for that, but that's fine. That's another Reaper, so that's... I mean, we're getting snowballed here. What we need to do... Our Zarya really needs to not be there. I don't know why our Zarya is up there. Why is our Zarya up there? What is she doing? Well, the Nano Blade's gone big, which is good, because we needed something, let's be honest. Luckily we've held the grab, but I'm not quite sure why the Zarya was up there. Because that was just... You want Zarya in the fight, she's not going to get any charge up there. That is a perfect example of what I was saying about the barrier just now. You feathered the barrier, you blocked his hook. It's just such a good use of barrier there, and that's the way a lot of really good Sigmas will use their barrier. They won't use it just as a Reinhardt walk forward barrier sort of thing. They will use it to feather, and again, we've got nothing to combat that. Unless we have a... The only thing we can stop that with is a barrier. And they are going to clean us up with Tech Visor, and Zarya ult got nothing really. Ooh, Ooh, that was a roll. That was a roll, wasn't it? Sometimes Numbani, I find, happens like that. Especially if you get rolled hard on that first point like that. They had so much time that they were very likely to finish the map. But it's very hard to run the comp that is being run into the comp that the enemy team is running. They have so much shield break, it is bonkers. And so it's going to be very difficult for you to keep that barrier up. Now, I know you're a Sigma main, so I'm not going to say, well, you shouldn't be playing the hero. But it is not the most ideal situation for the hero, if you get my meaning. If the enemy, if the other tank was an Orisa or a Reinhardt, I'd say, yeah, that's actually really good. But it's a struggle with only a 900 HP barrier. This is the sort of place where the Zarya pick was actually really good and should have got a lot of value, but it kind of didn't. That's really nothing you can do about that. But on attack here, don't go up there. Don't go up there. Don't go up there. Look at their comp. Don't. We don't even have a Zarya, we have a D.Va now. You are gonna... Okay. So this is something that frustrates me no end on Numbani attack. People who go into this room and do this. Look at their comp. Look at the Junkrat. Look at his ult charge. He will absolutely farm Riptire off of you guys. You have to push through this. You have to be the initiators. You can't just sit here and spam because you're playing into their hands. Their Junkrat has died somehow, but he will have Riptire when he comes back. They're going to have Coalescence. That Reaper is lucky and shouldn't get away with that. You could have rocked him there. We're doing a decent job of building our Gravitic Flux though, so I will give you that. And the benefit of where you are with this is look at our support ults, because we are doing so much healing because we are taking so much damage. But you need to initiate, you need to push through. That Riptire is awful. Good pick on the Riptire with the rock, but he shouldn't have been putting it through there like that. Oh, this is an interesting place to use Gravitic Flux. We can barely see what we're doing with it. No, we got the Ana. Okay. We still haven't pushed through this choke. We still haven't pushed through it. We are struggling like hell. The Doom has gone for a flank. Everyone else is going for a flank, and we're just kind of getting... We've got a Nano as well. Go. Forward, 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 forward. Keep going. Down to point. Down to point now. Down to point. Help your D.Va. Help your D.Va. To point. Don't be scared and go off to the side of the point. Go to point. Nice. You just need... I've learned this very recently, right? Playing Reinhardt. A lot of people, especially around gold and low plat, can be extremely passive. Extremely passive. And especially tanks, the main tank won't push through the choke point. And very often, and I've heard it a lot before, they'll say, well, why aren't our DPS getting picks? Well, the reason for that is because, well, they have no space to get those picks. DPS thrive when tanks make space. And so you have to be the initiators. You have to be the ones to take the initiative and say, I'm going to push through this choke. By the way, we didn't necessarily need the Gravitic Flux. That was a lot invested into that fight. That was a lot invested, but we do have both support ults. So hopefully this Zen can trance the Rhine or... Don't do that. Don't do that. That's D.Va mechanics, that is. So you just used your Kinetic Grasp to eat a Moira Orb on its own. Don't do that. Because Kinetic Grasp is actually really powerful, right? That Reaper comes in with his ult. You can eat his ult, pretty much. Just like D.Va would. And you can negate his ult. It's not value to eat in Moira. Just use that ability cooldown for a Moira Orb and put on a 10-second cooldown. Because that's the one thing that I know a lot of players that, you know, play D.Va and play Sigma have a problem with. Because, yes, with D.Va, you would absolutely eat that. Because it denies the Moira ult. Denies the Moira ult charge. There's a hog in the back line. Our team should pull out here and regroup. But, yeah. If you're a D.Va, do it. If you're a Sigma, don't. It's not worth putting that Kinetic Grasp on a 10-second cooldown, because it's actually really valuable. It gets you out of tricky situations if you find yourself in it, and it can negate ults. And there is a Reaper on the field, and we know that. Or we should know that. Obviously now on the field as well, we have a Sombra, so we need to be very, very careful of that. The Mei is actually a pretty good pick. It gives us a lot more sustain, and the wall can act as a pseudo tank barrier. Do you know what I'd do? I'd throw a barrier in the face of that Anna. Then she can't heal. And she has to move. We need to move forward. We need to move forward. Move forward. Don't be scared. Move forward. Move forward. Move forward. No, 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 no. Why are we backing off? We're nearly full HP. Ah, you see it though? You see it now? We went forward. We used our kinetic grasp and we kind of used it. We didn't really get much for it. Reaper just got a free ult. And killed our Mei and killed our Zen. We could have eaten his ult there. Or most of it anyway. Nice pick in the end, but we need to get out of here. Just die. Just die. Just die. 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 Oh no, why did she nano? Great. That's a great rock to negate his ult, but why did she... No. She should not have nanoed you there. That's not your fault, but she should not have nanoed you.
That music, it's playing again.
Oh boy. In that... To be quite honest, what I would have done, I wouldn't have backed there. As Sigma, you're so immobile and just so slow, I would have gone forward to the payload and made them kill me. And made them respawn me. Now, very often in Overwatch, our D.Va is feeding. Our D.Va is absolutely feeding. She shouldn't be doing that. Don't get hooked. Don't get hooked. We don't do this. Hulk hooks us. We don't mess around with the Hulk. We don't give Hulk opportunity to pick. Can you hear? Can you hear in the background? That's Sombra peppering. Peppering our Zen. Ooh, yeah. That's actually not value, though. Did she only... Hold on a second. Did she only hack us? Because if so, that wasn't good value. No, she did get good value, actually. And they killed them over before she killed her also. That's fine. But we should have known... We knew the Sombra was in the backline from the audio key there, because we could hear her peppering our backline. Again, really nice stun on the Roadhog. Really good. But we don't want to muck with him here. He's gonna mess us up. Thank goodness our Reaper was there. But if you can try and accretion Sombras, if they're trying to muck up your backline, that would be really nice. Ooh, that's unlucky. That's unlucky because we almost stunned him out of his ult there. But luckily, the rest of our team is here, so we just got value out of it. Again, it's no kill usage of kinetic grasp. It's not too bad. But there's that Reaper ult again. We did absorb damage with the kinetic grasp, so it wasn't a total waste. But we should have been aware that the Reaper ult was up. Because we can do so much to shut that down. We can shut down so much damage. We just walk towards him and we just put our hand in his face. And he can't do anything. Don't eat the Moira Rob. Don't eat it. It's toxic. It's toxic. Only divas eat Moira Robs. Remember that. Only divas. Don't you just come back off cooldown? How does that Reaper survive? I mean, he gets nano, but Jesus. Oh my goodness me. I mean, that was pretty poor from them. They should have killed that Reaper. But you can see how we're struggling here. Because of a compositional mismatch. It took us so long to break the first point because we weren't aggressive enough at moving through the choke. And to be quite honest, I wouldn't have gone through that choke with that comp anyway. You were just going to get spammed out by what they were playing. I would have said, right, let's move around, either go main, or you can rotate all the way around the back to point. And I understand that at gold, it's not exactly easy to do. One thing I am noticing is when you're moving, you are shaking. And that is possibly a little bit of a sensitivity issue. So just something to perhaps look into. Sometimes it's okay, but sometimes I see the shakes. Like we've got an earthquake on Numbani. And that's normally to do with sensitivity being a little bit too high. Don't eat it. Don't want that on cooldown. So we're going to go for the same place again, are we? Aye. There's a trap in the doorway. You know there's a Junkrat. Expect the trap. Be aggressive. The road, actually, us having a Roadhog now has actually been really good, and that was a really good bio node from Arana. Now we move forward. We got the pick. We killed their Roadhog. Move forward. We got the Rana. Push the advantage. You're pushing the advantage better than London Spitfire do, at least. I'm not gonna lie. Just leave that, Moira. Go to point. Leave that, Moira. She's got to go to point to stall it anyway. Suck him. Nice. Nice roll. But the Junkrat's getting work done. And now the tanks are back. Gravitic Flux. Get our D-Max. Nice. Oh, we needed to rock that Moira. Out of her ult. Nice block. How did that get the Tracer? That was a really nice use of barrier. To block the damage from the Junkrat, but we're going to lose this. Oh dear, oh dear. I don't think we pushed our advantage quick enough there. What I would have done as the Sigma there, and I know you were kind of like fixated on what the Junkrat and the Moira were doing, but I would have dropped the point with the Hog, and if you're taking the point, they are forced to come to point or they will C9. So you're making them work to you then, instead of you doing what they want to do. Now, if we'd had 3 members on point, we would have been taking the point quicker. Therefore, it would have been a much more dire situation for the tanks, which we did kill in the end. And we might have had enough progress to actually take that point before the Reaper ult comes in. But there was actually some good play there. The barrier on the Junk ult was good. I don't know why it killed the Tracer, though. That's a bit weird. To watch that one back, really. So we've got a Junkrat of our own now, which is good. I don't really know why we've got a Lucio, but that's whatever. It's gold. I'm not going to worry too much about it. We have much more shield back than we had before, so we can match them much better. But we still have less shields. Back. He's going to hook us. Back. That Hulk shouldn't be there. Okay, whatever. But again, just be very careful. When you do that, you are exposing yourself to a hook. You will see actually a lot of Overwatch League teams do that, where they'll kill the trap. Okay, Hulk's got it. You'll see a lot of Overwatch League teams do that, where they'll come out of spawn in the very first seconds of the map, and they'll run Hog. And they're just looking for a hook to see if anyone's trying to be cheeky. It's very high level, obviously, but it's just, there we go. I said it, and it happened. You're lucky to survive that. Get out of this room. Get out of this room. Get out of this room. You're being spammed to death. As the Hog has just found out. Back. I actually like the aggression there the enemy's team has shown. Leave them. Just concentrate on what's going on point. At the end of the day, it's an objective-based game. But, again, see, we got slept there. He's going to charge us. We're going to die. Because we got naded and charged. See? We overextended there. And we got punished by the Ana. She did exactly what she should have done there. She punished us hard.
That music.
Let me detach and go to the
Playing
point.
again.
But again, this is a classic case. They are not pushing their advantage. They should have steamed through this point. They should have steamed through here. The Hog shouldn't have been able to spam. Then they... Oh, that's so frustrating. And Junkrat kills him for his troubles. Where are we going? Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. So, what do we know that's here? Unless your team has told you, and I know gold, and I know that people don't talk all that often. How do you know what you're gravitic fluxing here? The Ana's not in it. It's only the Hog. And there's a Reaper down here saying, Flying Sigma. I'm going to shoot him. I don't like this ult. I don't think there's a need for it. You do get the Ana in the end though. But you have no view of this Ana. So you don't know you're getting that Ana. You don't know you're getting that Ana. That's luck. That's pure luck. She dies? Yeah. Because the Hog helped out. Although the Hog is overextended and now he's purple, so he needs to get out of the way. But now, you're in a really weird position, aren't you? You've got a Reaper with his weapons in you. And Reaper versus Sigma very often is going to go the way of a Reaper. And again, we are 5v6 because they have spawn advantage here. Moira comes in. They also have the ults now as well. Although, that's a good kill on the Riptire, and the UI's gone funny. But it all snowballs out of there. It all snowballs out of that. We lose this point, right? Or we should do. We're coming back, but we're not going to get there. Ooh, I know what you were doing with this flank. So, two main mistakes, right? From you personally. And I'm not gonna say, oh, the team should have been doing this, the team should have been doing that, because there's nothing you can do to influence that. It's useless me saying that. But there are two really, really glaring things I've been seeing here. Stop pushing into this room. First mistake is this. You get slapped because you overextended. And there were multiple times before this that you could have been hooked from this high ground as they were pushing in. It's an insta-win, or it should be. Although they don't push this, which is actually really bad from their perspective. So we end up coming back.
Almost time for a gravitic flux.
Let's speed this up a second. We end up coming back and we see what's going on up here. We get a pick on the Reinhardt, which is fine. That's all we needed. So what do we do here? We toddle off up here and we rejoin with the rest of our team and we spam our orbs down there. Yes, we've got our ult, but look at what we're coming up on. We're coming up on 5 ults, even though we've just used Riptire. So we should be able to see ourselves through what they're going to throw at us. But we decide to go on this bonkers, crazy gravitic flux flank, where the only thing we can actually see that we're gravitic fluxing here is a Roadhog, when we've already killed one of their players. We're lucky that we get this Ana, because we don't know she's in the gravitic flux. And then we don't also think that we're about to drop straight into a Reaper, which is a massive, hard counter, whatever tank you're playing. Doesn't matter whether you're playing Reinhardt, Orisa, Roadhog, flippin' Sigma, Diva. A Reaper is built to rip through tanks. So, this, I know what you were doing. You wanted to catch them off guard and end the fight. But the fight really was already ended. All you needed to do was rotate back to the high ground where your supports are and where your Ashe is. I'm not quite sure what's happening to her coat, but you know, that's what's happening. Because you could actually have helped them out with these two guys. And you could have rejoined here where you've got your Junkrat and your Roadhog doing all the work. You get a kill with a Gravitic Flux, but it's not necessarily value. Because yeah, you kill the Ana, but you end up dying yourself. And the Ana is going to get back much sooner than you did. As that did play out, because you didn't get back until basically the point was taken. That is something that gets so heavily punished. So heavily punished. And because they had so many ults, they can roll this. Because you're a man down. Unfortunately, we don't... Yeah, it's a bad Lucio ult, but again, there's not much you can do about that. But you see the positional errors? You see the positional errors, you see the errors of judgment that can lead to a point being completely rolled? That was an example of it. That was an example of it. The few times that you went too far forward into the room against a spammy, horrible comp, I'm not going to lie, they're horrible comps to play against because your barrier just half the time doesn't exist. But going into that, you know what comp they are playing. So don't give them the perfect opportunity to spam you out, which is what you were doing. And just don't. Even if it means sacrificing the early rock or whatever, just don't go that far out on them, Barney. Just don't. If you want a rule of thumb as a tank, never go past that door. Never go past that first high ground door. Unless it's like 5v2. Because if you're pushing out that far, they should be retreating. But if you're pushing out that far, you are so vulnerable to CC. You're out of the line of sight of your healers. Or you should be anyway, because your healers shouldn't be that far forward unless you've got a Moira. And you're putting yourself at so much risk. And the run back is so long compared to their spawn that they should win that fight. If they hook you there, or they sleep you there like that Ana did, they should win that fight every single time. And as they didn't. But believe me, I mean, we're at mid gold in this clip, so Plat, and you should notice as an ex-Rhine player in Plat, as a Plat player, or as a Diamond player, or even, you know, further up than that, definitely, you will just get punished so hard. So hard. So that's a few things to work out, right? Better positioning, not going too far forward. Most of your ult usage was alright. It was that last ult. And I don't know whether it shouldn't have been a desperation ult, because you weren't in a desperate situation at all. You were actually in a pretty good situation. Perhaps it's awareness of not having the awareness of the situation that you're in, maybe? Maybe you didn't press tab and look at the ults that your team had. Maybe you didn't look at the kill feed and see that the Reinhardt had been killed. But it's having that awareness of that last ult was just not it, Chief. That just wasn't it. But also, there's the little things as well, the little mechanical things. Don't go just putting kinetic grasp on a 10-second cooldown for a Moira orb, because it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Moira builds her ultimate incredibly fast anyway, regardless of whether you eat her orb every 10 seconds. Just don't eat that orb, because kinetic grasp is so powerful at shutting down things much more lethal than a stupid little purple orb. But again, if you're D.Va, ignore that device, because D.Va can feather her matrix, and that's a different ballgame altogether. But that's what I would take away from that. But the main thing is just the positional problems there, and the composition was not ideal for what they were running. Like, especially when we improved, the team as a whole improved the composition towards the end, because we had more shield break. But especially the early defense one, and there's no way you would have known what they were coming out with. But in early defense, a Sigma as the only barrier is really, really rough in any case. And a Genji is also rough, especially in 2020. But yeah, positional is the biggest problem here. And overextension is the biggest problem here, without a doubt. But I am going to leave it here for this one. I think there is a lot of capability there, and I'm sure you will climb if you iron out those weird overextensions and stuff like that. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like it, give a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then.